Okay, Miguel, looking at the currency, I think you got some good bones here. I think you understand how you want to set this up. I think it's good and consistent. You got some really nice things going on here. I think compositionally, it doesn't seem like the work is complete yet, but you've got some nice things going on. I want to talk a little bit about execution, and I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to use, I'm going to jump over here, and sorry, Charles, I'm going to use Charles as an example. Charles' currency is set up beautifully. However, if you review my critique to Charles' work, you'll see that I had stated that um, he has placed images here in the background. Okay, these are all these are all raster placed basic photographs. And my critique mentioned that, let's not forget the name of the class is vector illustration. Okay, so to place photographs, it's no longer a vector illustration class. It's now a layout and design class. We don't want that. We want to stick to vector illustration. I want to say the same thing about your currency. Now, as gorgeous as your currency is, it seems to me as though you're placing elements here as opposed to illustrating elements. Now, I'm not saying you did, but did you design these patterns? If you did, they're spectacular, gorgeous. If you didn't, I would recommend that you design your own patterns to use on your currency. Otherwise, you're just finding elements and placing them. Likewise with the denomination, as well as this security code down here. Right? And finally, the image in the background is a placed image. It's a photograph. In all three situations, we see that. How do I know? Well, if I simply just move in here, we get in close enough and we can clearly see what? Pixels. Yes, indicative of raster imaging, indicative of bitmap imaging, indicative of that you are placing elements in your illustrations as in your currency as opposed to illustrating them. Okay, now if we look over here, look, that's a placed object. It seems like the background here is definitely a placed object, as is that background. I'd like you to illustrate the backgrounds. I'd also like you to illustrate your own sort of pattern here. And again, we can jump over to Charles. Sorry, Charles, I keep using you as an example. But there's his security patterns that he had designed for his currency. He's got them there, and he's got them also in the background of some of the denominations. So I guess in essence, I really want you to illustrate as opposed to composing a layout here based on found objects that you're placing in here. Okay. Now, if you illustrated the 50, and I apologize 100%, but I'm just seeing this as more as being placed objects than an example of your illustrative prowess and some of the techniques that you've learned in the last 8 weeks. And that's what we're after in this assignment. And that's what I need to see. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, please let me know. And otherwise, I'd like to see you recompose these using illustrative techniques as opposed to placing found objects. Hope that makes sense. Please let me know. Miguel, please. It's really important to me that this makes sense to you. Okay. Any questions? Give me a holler. Thanks, man.